Hello viewers, welcome to my video on generative AI. Before starting the session, let me introduce myself. I am Pawan Addepalli. I started my career as a software test automation engineer where I used Selenium and JMeter for test automation. And then I transformed myself as a DevOps engineer where I have achieved certification in AWS and GCP. I am also certified Kubernetes administrator. For the past few years, I am learning AI and ML from different sources. Recently, I have achieved Generative AI related certification from GCP. After completing the certification, I decided to create a video on Generative AI in most generic manner, not specific to GCP or any other service provider. The target audience for this session are like one who has limited or absolutely no knowledge on Generative AI. So I would like to give in a very brief manner so that one will understand what exactly generative AI and how it will be applicable. So let's get started. I would like to explain this session in following chapter manner. First I would like to start with Gen AI introduction. Then we will learn about foundation model, how to choose foundation models followed by its limitation and techniques. Then we will also explore in AI architecture and agents. So let's get started. Gen AI is not limited to a chatbot. It's not an application, but it can be integrated with other applications to create new content and ideas, including text, image, music, and even source code of any programming language. For example, Gemini app or ChatGPT, which can be useful in writing, planning, learning, and more. But they are just that, an application. Generative AI is to generate the new content. With generative AI, we can do various things like creating images, videos, audio files, generating code in various programming languages. We can summarize long documents or articles, or we can even discover the hidden pattern and insights in the data. We can even automate some simple tasks like sending the emails, setting up the notification, converting the document, etc. To understand how generative AI works, we need to get familiar with foundation models. Foundation models are large AI models trained on bigger data sets. They offer potential to streamline the process, automate the task, and unlock new possibilities across various business functions. They are pre-trained on massive amount of diverse data like text, image, and code, enabling them to adapt many different tasks. LLMs or large language models are probably the most famous type of foundation model. I would like to add some key features of foundation model. They are trained on diverse data, flexible and adaptable. Examples like Gemini, Imagen, and Chirp. Just to explain in simple terms, foundation model is the engine. Generative AI is the car's ability to drive. In short, you can't have modern high quality generative AI without a powerful foundation model to drive it. The foundation model is a technological breakthrough that makes sophisticated content generation possible. So let's get some understanding on prompting model. While foundation models are trained on a massive amount of data, they are utilized with prompt. Like if you ask question, we will get answer. If request, we will get response. If code has error, we will suggest to fix them. If you request for summary, we will get summary. Foundation model is like a powerful complex engine in the car, and a prompt is steering the wheel, accelerator and gear. We tell the engine what to do. So in summary, prompting a model is a fundamental user interface for generative AI. Here I will show a simple Python program which I have implemented using GPT 4.0 model. Let's walk through the code in short. So okay. This is the main function where I have given details of project and deployment types. And here I have given the prompt. In line number 39, I said you are a helpful AI assistant that answers questions. It's a very generic thing. So that's how a function it looks like. So let me run this. Let me save and then quit. Okay. So if I run with simple Python command, it's asking for prompt. So here I am asking very simple question like how can I swap two variables without using third variables. So if I ask question with GPT 4.0, it is giving response with some algorithm as well as the programming languages like Java and Python. So that we can see here. See, it's Python, and then we can see in Java also, and also some key points for guidance. Okay. Now here we will do very little change. I will set it up the I will redesign the prompt model like system message. I will mention rather than helpful AI assistant, I would say I will stick it for one specific programming language. Let us say you are a Java programmer. So I am expecting that after this change, if I ask same question, it will only respond in the Java, not in the Python. So let me ask same question again. So how can you swap two variables without using the third one? So my expectation is that it will only display Java program as output. It shouldn't display anything else like Python. See, now we can see it was clearly mentioned like how should I achieve it in the Java. It has written a class with all the programming techniques. So likewise we can tune the system message to get the response. So let's have a simple quiz now. The first question is generative AI is best described as a system that select one of the four. The option A is only follows a strict set of pre-programming rules. B, only analyze existing data to find insights. C, create new original content that resembles the data it was trained on. D, only predicts a single numerical outcome like stock price. So we have seen n number of times, right? The generative AI is to generate new content from which it was trained on. So the answer is C. The second question: while traditional AI is often used to predict or classify information, generative AI is used to dash new content. Can you fill the blank? Organize, store, generate and delete. Answer is C, generating the new content. Let's have a look the difference between AI, ML and generative AI. Artificial intelligence means it's a building machine that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning, problem solving and decision making. Machine learning is a subset of AI, where machines learn from the data to perform specific tasks. And the generative AI is an application of machine learning that focuses on creating the new content. To be more specific, if we examine the primary goal for artificial intelligence, the goal is to simulate human intelligence. For machine learning, it's to learn from the data to predict. Whereas for generative AI, the primary goal is to learning to create new content. And each has a different sort of output. When it comes to artificial intelligence, the output is a decision or action. For machine learning, a prediction or classification. And for generative AI, as we are specifying from the beginning, the output is to create new content like image, poem or music. Until now, we have explored what is the definition of generative AI, what is the foundation model, how important it is for generative AI, and also the difference between AI, ML and Gen AI. Now let us understand data, which is one of the most important factor for generative AI. So understanding data for machine learning model analyze the data they have given, identify the patterns and then calculate the different outcomes. Data is like a foundation of any artificial intelligence system, with the data quality and accessibility being essential for AI development. This can be structured or unstructured. Understanding the types of data of its quality, including accuracy, completeness, consistency, relevance, availability, cost and format is a crucial for successful AI initiatives. So now it's time to explore the types of learning. Machine learning has three primary learning approaches: supervised, unsupervised and reinforcement learning. Supervised machine learning is like training models on labeled data. Unsupervised is like dealing with raw unlabeled data. Reinforcement learning is all about learning through interactions and feedback. Now at this point of time, I would like to add few more information about deep learning. Generative AI uses the power of deep learning to create new content spanning like text, images and beyond. Deep learning techniques are engine behind these generative models. Foundation models use deep learning. They are trained on massive datasets that allow them to learn complex patterns and perform a variety of tasks across different domains. They are incredibly powerful machine learning models trained on massive scale, often using vast amount of unlabeled data. Think of foundation model as a highly advanced learner. It's like a student who has read everything in the entire library, absorbing knowledge from countless books, articles and websites. This deep and extensive learning allows foundation models to be adapted to a wide range of tasks. Deep learning is a process of creating the expert, while the foundation model is a resulting expert itself. You use the technique of deep learning to create foundation model. So when you hear foundation model, you can think it's a huge AI model that was built using the latest and greatest deep learning techniques. So now we learn how to choose a model. A model is a type or channel of a data. So when we talk about a model in AI, we are talking about a kind of a data the AI model can understand or generate. So there are some important factors to consider while choosing the model, like modality, like which type of model we are going to process and generate, such as are we going to generate text, image or video. For example, if we are trying to generate an images, we will use model related to that, like Imagen. If it is video, then we have some models related to video. Likewise, we have to choose according to the modality. And then next, the context window refers to the amount of information a model can consider at one point of time. For example, if we are trying to convert or convert some sentence from one language to another language, like translation, then how big you want to consider at one point of time. And then security is a paramount, especially when dealing with sensitive data, we all know. Then the most important thing is availability and reliability of the model. They are very crucial. So if you are choosing a model, that should be available as well as reliable. Finally, there are other factors which are very important when we choose model, that is cost, because for startups or some project we have limitation of cost, performance, and how far we can customize to meet the goal of our project, and integration, like how best we can integrate to our application. So these are the things we need to consider while we choose for a model. Let's understand some limitations of foundation model. Let me start with hallucination. Hallucination is something, it blends the fact with fiction to sound credible. Moreover, the tone is authoritative and confident, but it's not true. Another limitation is knowledge cutoff, means it will always give the older response. It is not aware of the latest changes or trends. Let me give an example of this knowledge cutoff. For example, if we ask what is the capital of Andhra Pradesh, it will reply as Hyderabad, because it is not aware of a bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh and the new capital Amaravati. And another limitation is bias. Bias means it will always give response with the same style or same category. I will give one familiar bias example. For example, if I ask to generate a image of a police officer, it will always generate image of a male police officer. If I ask for 100 times, it will generate 100 different male police officer. It will never generate single female police officer. So this is called bias. There are some other limitations like edge cases, which is very rare cases, and fairness. So in these limitations, there is always a way to overcome. So we will go through these techniques of foundation model in the next slide. So let's have a joke. How does AI will hallucinate? So user asks a powerful generative AI. The question is, hey, I am writing history report. To make sure you are accurate, can you tell me who invented telephone? Then AI replied saying that of course the telephone was famously invented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876, which is fine. Now user asks a very typical question. Okay, great. Now for the report, who invented the chair? Then AI responded with very confidence and very powerful tone saying that excellent question. 4-legged sitting chair was invented in ancient Egypt 2680 BC by renowned craftsman, some name which doesn't exist, who according to historical scrolls grew tired of sitting on pyramids and declared there must be better way to contemplate the abyss. So here the limitation is explained very well. Actually this joke I would like to highlight the limitation of hallucination. A answers the first question very well, but for the second question, impossible to answer question like who invented the chair. It doesn't say I don't know. Instead it is giving fabricated answer very confidently and sounds very confident. It is also giving specific date and specific name which are fiction. So these are hallucinations. This is the limitation of AI, hallucination. Now let's go through some techniques of foundation model which will help us to overcome the limitations that we discussed in the past. Let me start with grounding. Grounding is actually a process of connecting the AI output to a verifiable source of information. Let us consider this as a AI reality check. This is essential for building trustworthy and reliable AI applications. By considering or by connecting our models to a verifiable data, we can ensure accuracy and also build some confidence. And then next one is RAG, retrieval augment generation. It's a grounding method that uses search to find relevant information from knowledge base and provide that information to LLM, giving it a necessary context. Let me explain in more detail with the three words, which is retrieval augmented generation. First, let me start with retrieval. The large language model retrieves relevant information from external sources using tooling. And next, augmentation, which means the retrieved information is incorporated into the prompt to large language model. And then generation, which means the large language model processes this prompt and generate response. It sounds like grounding and RAG are same, right? Yeah, indeed. You don't choose between grounding and RAG. In fact, you implement RAG in order to achieve grounding. So, grounding is the desired end state, RAG is the means to that end. And now, let's go through prompt engineering. Actually, prompt engineering is the art of designing effective inputs or maybe prompts to guide the foundation model towards generating a desired output. Let me explain with some examples so that we will get more idea. The one of the prompt engineering technique is react or reason and act. This will allow the large language model to reason and take action on user query. It's one of the best framework that will improve the ability of foundation model to solve complex problems that require external knowledge. It solves major limitation, which is hallucination. The core idea of React is think, act and observe. There are some other examples like chain of thought. It's like a guiding large language model through problem solving process by providing examples with intermediate reason steps. So this technique is best suitable for mathematics and video games as well. And then another technique of prompt engineering is meta prompting. Here in this case, we use prompting to guide the AI model to generate, modify or interrupt for other prompts. And the next technique is fine tuning. When prompt engineering doesn't deliver the desired outcome, fine tuning can enhance your model performance. Of course, pre-trained models are powerful, but they are designed for general purpose, right? They are not designed for a specific purpose. Tuning these models helps them to excel in specific areas because we are looking for a specific response or specific purpose. This process is particularly useful for a specific task or when you need to enforce a specific output format, especially if you have examples of a desired output. So these are the techniques of a foundation model that helps to overcome the limitations. Now let's see simple technique how we can improve the response with grounding. Okay, so I'm using Gemini 2.0 Flash model, and I was asking simple question like when will be the next eclipse. It is saying 23rd August 2044. To improve, I am using grounding, where I am using Google search tool as a grounding. When I use that, I am getting more response like September 7, 2025 is the next. Of course, we can see August 23rd, 2044 is also there, but before that it is giving very accurate information like 7 September 2025. Until now, we have learned some concepts of generative AI, right? Now let's go through its architecture. Like any other application, generative AI has some layers. Let us explain each layer in detail. The first one is infrastructure layer. This is a foundation of AI system comprising the hardware like GPU, TPUs and cloud computing resources, and software like operating system. And then model layer. It's a where brain of AI system reside. It comprises various algorithms that learn pattern from data and can make predictions or generate new content. Examples of a large language model are like Gemini, Image, some other models. And then platform layer. This layer is something which consists of tools and services that help with building and deploying the AI models. And then agent layer. This layer utilizes the capabilities of model layer to perform complex actions. This layer interacts with environment, gathering the information and make decisions and execute actions based on the information received. And then application layer. This is the layer that delivers AI capability to users through interfaces. So these are the layers of AI architecture. So now let's learn more about the agents. Logically, we can divide agents in two ways: conversational agents and workflow agents. Conversational agent means like answering the question. Imagine you are curious about weather in Paris, or then you will ask your conversational agent like, how is the weather in Paris? It will respond. It could be casual conversation as well, like feeling bored. A conversation agent can engage in light-hearted. It will tell you jokes, something like that. Whereas when it comes for workflow agent, an agent automatically do some tasks. Like for example, it is a e-commerce order fulfillment agent. Then it will automatically process orders, updates inventory, and send shipping notifications. For example, take an example of customer onboarding agent. In this case, agent will guide new joinee through account setup, provide some tutorials, answer frequent asked questions. Okay, so likewise we can have conversational agent and workflow agents. So let's have some real world news about generative AI. So for the software development data operations, the real world application like GitHub Copilot Workspace, the news is that it's building on the success of its code completion tool. GitHub announced Copilot Workspace. This is actually a agentic environment where developer can state goal in natural language, like add dark mode feature to the app. The agent will then formulate a plan, show the developer which files it intend to change, write the initial code and present it for approval before execution. Why it's an agent? Because it moves beyond just completing line of code to planning and attempting to execute entire feature development tasks from start to finish. Next one is customer service and support. Klarna AI Assistant. This is one of the most mature and impactful area of agents in business. Klarna, the massive buy now pay later company, announced its early 2024 that AI Assistant is now handling the majority of customer service chats. They reports it's doing the equivalent work of 700 full-time human agents. This is not just a simple FAQ chatbot. This agent can access customer order history, process requests for refunds and returns, even update shipping information. And then personal productivity and automation. This is the holy grail for companies like Google and Microsoft, where agent can manage your digital life. Some real world applications like Google's Project Astra, OpenAI, GPT-4o. The news is that in May 2024, both Google and OpenAI showcased the vision of multimodal AI agents. In demo, user pointed their phone camera at speaker system and asked, "What is the part called? Then, how does it work?" Then the agent identified the specific component and explained its function. The next step is which is just beginning to roll out its action. For example, user get an email about team lunch. Agent read it, understand the context, check everyone's calendar for availability, suggest time, finds nearby restaurant with good reviews and draft calendar invitation. This multi-step tool using process is core of a productivity agent. So this is how we are trying to improve the productivity, thereby automation. So we have gone through a lot of fundamental concepts like generative AI, how it is related to AI ML, foundation model, its limitations and techniques, prompt engineering, and agents architecture, right? Then what next? I would like to describe in 4 steps from analyzing to creating, right? So generative AI marks its big step from traditional artificial intelligence that analyzer predicts, from there to create new content. So that's the big step. And then the second one is the engine, foundation model along with the prompts. So we all know it's like a foundation model and prompts. How does it drive us to work with the generative AI? And third one is paradigm shift. So actually the true impact of Gen AI is not as a not replacement of human intelligence, but as a powerful co-pilot or tool for our thoughts. The purpose of this generative AI is to provide creativity, automating the task, thereby accelerating the productivity. Then we should have a path forward, responsible and collaboration, because we know this is powerful, but we need to agree that this is not the perfect one. The future requires a mindful approach where we must be vigilant about the limitations like hallucination, bias and ethical risks. The goal is not to trust blindly but verify and guide. The most successful outcome will come from partnership between human expertise and AI capability. Then finally, the conversation is no longer if we will use this technology, but how we will guide it to shape our future. Thank you very much for watching my video. In this video, I have presented my best to explain about generative AI, and also gone through some examples like how does it look for Azure as well as GCP, because I don't want to stick to one service provider, because this is generic information about generative AI, fundamentally not specific to the service provider. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much and wish you good luck for your learning. Okay, happy learning.